Okay, welcome back to Bland Gaming, the most boring and technologically primitive channel on the internet. I'd first like to start off by wishing everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, or just a general Happy Holidays. If you don't celebrate any of that stuff, then a happy end of 2020, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to talk about something I have been waiting for a long time. The Dune role-playing game came to my attention late last night, 11:30 at my time on the West Coast here, that the pre-order is now available from Modiphius.com to pre-order the Dune game. My understanding is I believe it is being released in March of 2021, but this is Bland Gaming, so first things first. Bland Gaming's beer of the day is peppermint tea. Okay, so due to the excessive stressors from my action-packed career, as well as some poor health choices made by your host, unfortunately, I am off the sauce for a little while and going to be drinking tea and eating lightly so that we can make sure that my tummy ache will go away. But don't worry, everything's going to be fine, and as soon as we get over this little bug, then I will be back to hosting your favorite game discussions, as well as discussing our beer of the day. So let's get right into it. A little bit of background about me. As many of you know, I'm a child of the 90s. I'm very, very, very old. One of my favorite books growing up, if not my favorite, was the first Dune. I did not get so into the sequels when it really kind of started to get weird. But the first book is one of those books that, like, changed my life. Very good book. I love the politics in it. I love the prophecy of it. It was just an amazing book, and it really had quite the impact on me. Later in life, in my married years and in the early 2000s, I discovered the Brian Herbert prequels. I've read House Carino, House Atreides, and House Harkonnen. And all three of those books take place before the original book of Dune, and in my opinion are absolutely magnificent. I loved those books. I thought they were great. Really a lot of focus on the political intrigue of the Dune universe. Now, I am not going to get into what exactly Dune is, because hopefully if you're looking at this, you are familiar at least with what the spice is, who the Harkonnens are, and who the Emperor of the Known Universe is, and who the Fremen are, and what have you. If you do not know who those people are, if you are not familiar with the setting of Dune, I would like you to go out into your garage, get a tack hammer, and hit yourself in the head for missing out on probably what is one of the most epic stories of good versus evil. It's amazing, up there with Lord of the Rings, in my opinion, as far as being one of the greatest epics told of all time. Good news, though, there's a movie that's going to be coming out, and for the most part, I am cautiously optimistic. Hollywood has a way of screwing up great literature, but I am cautiously optimistic for the release. They at least have the look right. In the book, Paul Atreides is 15 years old. I think the little guy that's playing him, Timothy Chalamet, he's in, what was it called, Henry VIII? Henry V, I think, is the name of that movie, that he played in, and it was, he showed that he can wield a sword and kick some butt, and I think he is perfect for Paul Atreides. The castings for Jessica and for Duke Leto are great. I can't wait to see the Baron Harkonnen, and the casting for Beast Raban is also going to be great. So we'll see. And moving and having it into two movies is a really great idea. So anyhow, and then of course having Hans Zimmer do the soundtrack is just absolutely amazing. So let's talk about the role-playing game here. So good news and bad news. Let's start with the good news. The good news is the setting is hard to beat. there's a lot of possibilities in this. So when you pre-order, if we look here, and again, because I'm primitive, we're just looking at this right on my computer screen here. So you have the complete collection bundle, which seems to be sold out. Look, that is for you really hardcore people. That is 3 copies of basically the same book with the House Atreides, House Carino, or House Harkonnen Collector's Edition. But to me, this is really just the good news is that's really just a collector's edition. So you get a basic rule book, then you get the 3 collector's edition rule books. You get your DM screen, you get your it's just like a campaign pack, and then 2 different packs of dice. What I went with myself, because I'm a GM, is I pre-ordered the standard Game Master bundle. It's got the rulebook, it has the little notes in it, it has the screen, and it has a set of dice. This seems like it's going to be more than enough for what you're going to need. If you're a player, this is probably the one that makes the most sense to me. The standard player's bundle with the dice, the notes, and the book, or just, go ahead and order just the basic book. If you do like the collector stuff, you can see that there's the Atreides Hawk that's on the front of it, very cool. And then there's the player's bundle if you want the dice and stuff with it. And then I thought, maybe they don't have it. I thought they had a House Carino and a House Harkonnen bundle, but maybe they don't. So I guess that's one of the things that's driving this one, that has made this one sold out, is because it's got all 3 of the houses there. So anyway, the good news is that the setting is going to be very, very hard to beat. It's a magnificent setting which mixes science fiction and prophecy and lore. So far, the artwork looks amazing. It looks very, very true to the novels, with definitely some inspiration from the movie, from the visuals of the movie, which is a good thing, because the movie that's about to come out really nails what the novel, I think, is how I pictured everything in the novel. When you pre-order it, you also get a PDF, which is called a Desert Fall, and in this PDF it goes over the basics of the rules. And I mean, this was immediately available to me last night, so last night I stayed up way too late reading this PDF. And in the PDF it goes over in basics about the rules system, the 2d20 rules system, and then it ends with an actual pre-generated, I know this is boring for you to see me scrolling through all this, but let's see if I can get to the end here. There's a pre-generated adventure that is called Starfall. It is a introductory adventure in which the players are, you got to see there's pre-generated characters. The players are members of House Atreides, and they are basically scouting the way to Arrakis before the house moves there. This is kind of a one-shot deal, so you have the pre-generated characters. As you can see, there's a Mentat, there's a reformed criminal character, much like Gurney Halleck. Then there's a servant type of character, which actually are a very important part. Political intrigue is a huge part of this setting. So the Bene Gesserit obviously are like the high priestesses. They are extremely cool. And you cannot play Dune without having sword masters, the Duncan Idaho type of class. And then the spice smuggler, who may or may not be a Fremen. You can see he's got a still suit on there. Anyway, you can see the artwork is just amazing, and it definitely gets the feel for the setting of Dune. The other thing upon reading the PDF that I really liked was that in the rule set here, the players make their own house. This was something that we also saw in the Song of Ice and Fire role-playing game, where instead of being a member of of House Baratheon or House Stark, the players actually make their own house up, and they all are important members within that house. This is a brilliant idea. In my group, when we played Song of Ice and Fire for, God, I think 3 or 4 years when I ran it, we absolutely loved it. That they made their own house and they made their own story within the major story of what was going on. So the players get to make their own house, and they get to decide what kind of house they want. They can run it however they want. They can be, good and noble like the Atreides. They can be conniving like House Carino, or they could be brutal like House Harkonnen. It doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want with it. The other thing, too, is the game setting seems to take place before the events which take place in Dune. So before the rise of the Fremen and Muad'Dib and the fall of House Atreides. Which I think is also the best time to make the game take place. That's when all the political intrigue is going on. That's when all of the houses are vying for power to control spice. And that's when Emperor Shaddam IV is kind of at his apex of power and everything. So that is the good stuff that I am seeing with Dune, the role-playing game. Let's talk about the bad stuff. The bad stuff is... and I know that there are a lot of people out there on the internet that absolutely love it and think it's great. Me and my group are not fans of the 2d20 system. The game system for the 2D, I think the term is crunchy, as I hear a lot of people talk about it. It is very rules heavy, in my opinion. Now, a lot of people like rules that are heavy. It is definitely one of the game's systems where when the fighting starts, you're playing a board game, where you stop, you put the miniatures on the game, and a lot of people love that aspect of the game. A lot of people love that aspect about, 5th edition D&D and everything, where it's got that, you got the miniatures and you got the castles and the terrain and stuff like that. As a guy that absolutely loves miniature wargaming, I love miniature wargaming, but when I play my role-playing games, I want to do theater of the mind. Now, I am well overdue, good viewers, for doing a review and talking about my number one experience with the 2d20 system is with the Conan role-playing game. A lot of you guys that listen to my channel know that I am a old school literature guy. I like Dune, I like Conan, I like Lovecraft. So growing up and reading all of Robert E. Howard's Conan books, when that game came out, it was a no-brainer for me. And even my friends that had never even, outside of seeing the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, they had never even messed with Conan before. A lot of them told me, and these are, D&D veterans and stuff, and they were saying, wow, this Conan setting is like the best fantasy setting out there, and I still believe that it is. However, the system itself was just something that was very problematic for us, and it just simply, a lot of people love it out on the internet, and I just say more power to them. But if you like quick, simple rules and more of theater of the mind role-playing game, then I don't think you're going to like the 2d20. The 2d20 system has been very successful with Conan. It has been very successful with Star Trek as well. I myself am not a fan. They streamlined it somewhat for the John Carter of Mars role-playing game. And again, I am a fan of the John Carter books. I thought the movie was excellent, rendition of the books and everything. But the John Carter of Mars role-playing game was a horrible disappointment to me personally. They did streamline the 2d20 rules a little bit in it, but I felt like, as a reader of the books, I felt like it was not true to the source material. The one thing I will tell you about Conan was the courageous, I will tell you as a guy that is not a big fan of the 2d20 system, I will tell you to go out and buy, I cannot recommend enough to buy the Conan Modiphius 2d20 role-playing game, because the artwork and the setting is so fantastic. It is so well written. It is so entertaining to read that in itself is worth it. And really, you're just doing a crapshoot on whether or not the 2d20 system is your thing or if it isn't. And if it's not your thing, I will tell you those books are so good that it is. It's worth it for you to buy it and to look into possibly, using a different set of rules for it. My group in particular, since we stopped playing Conan have been looking at a system to bring Conan back into our playing, and we are looking at the Year Zero engine from Free League, which many of you know I am a huge fan of. So a few of the talking heads in my group are looking at converting the Conan world into the Year Zero engine and jumping back into that role-playing game because it is so magnificent, so well written. But anyway, so listen, again, it's just my opinion. There are tons of people out there on the internet that absolutely love the 2d20 system. There are tons of players that have no issues with it. A lot of people need that level of tactical fighting and things like that with it. So don't take my word for it. I am not a fan of the 2d20 system, and the minute that this game became available for pre-purchase, I bought it. Because the artwork and the setting are so magnificent. So anyway, so it's available. You just go to Modiphius.com and you should be able to go ahead and pre-order it there. I would look into it. I am very excited about what I see in the PDF so far. I like what they're doing with it. It is... You know, for most of us Dune fans, we've been playing or running Coriolis to kind of, wet our Dune whistle, so to speak. There's a lot more going on in Coriolis as far as a role-playing game. And there's definitely, it is heavily influenced by Dune, in my opinion. And, but it's, it's got a little bit of sprinkle of the, it's got a little bit of a sprinkle of, like, the Expanse with it, while the Dune role-playing game is, I think, much more Game of Thrones-ish, much more Dune-ish, as far as, like, before the fall of House Atreides. There's a lot of political maneuvering and a lot of stuff like that. So it's a very interesting setting. Like I said, check it out at Modiphius.com. In the comments, if you have strong feelings about Dune or the 2d20 system, I know a lot of you disagree with me. Like I said, a lot of people love it out there. I myself, it's just not my bag, baby. So let me know in the comments. I'll try and respond to you. I apologize. Life has been busy for me, but I'm taking some time off over the holidays, and hopefully I will get some more reviews out for you. I think I am well overdue for reviewing the Conan system and discussing it. That's going to be a long video, but in the meantime, if I don't see you or hear from you, everybody have a magnificent holiday and have a magnificent end to this nightmare year that we call 2020. But 2020, going out with a bang, and they're giving us we're allowed to we got an early Christmas present that we have the Dune role-playing game available to us. So anyway, thank you for watching and tuning in to the most boring internet channel out there. I'm going to try and enjoy my peppermint tea and my Santa mug here, and hopefully my tummy will settle. Take care and keep gaming.